Hey guys, now in this video let's see a demo of Azure Storage Queue. So we will create a queue in portal, then we will send a message to this queue and we will receive the message from this queue in portal. Then we will send the message to this queue from our C# code and then we will retrieve the message from this queue in our C# code. And guys, when we retrieve the message from this queue, we will also understand this visibility timeout. So we will understand what is this visibility timeout and why we have it. Okay, and now let's go to the Azure portal. So guys, we are in Azure and this is our storage account. So let's open it. Now under data storage, can you see these queues? Let's click on it. And now let's create our first queue. So let's click on this plus queue. Let's give name and let's say OK. So guys, we have created our first storage queue. Now let's open this queue. And now let's send a message to this queue. So I will say add message and I will say test message and let's say OK. And see, immediately this message is available in this queue. So basically this message is now available for consumption from some other service, right? Now obviously if I say dequeue message, that means that message it will be dequeued, and if I say clear queue, that means this queue it will be cleared. And now let's keep it simple and let's try to clear this queue. So I'll say yes, and obviously now there are no messages in this queue. Now guys, let me show you one more thing. Let's say add message. So I'll say first message, I'll say OK. Again add message, second message, I'll say OK. Add message, I will say third message, OK. And now guys, if I say dequeue message, see guys, first we send first message, then second message, and then third message, right? Now if I say dequeue message, say yes, and see the first message it was dequeued. That means queue is obviously FIFO, that is first in first out, right? And now let's again clear this queue. And now guys, let's send a message to this queue from our C# code, right? So guys, we are in Visual Studio and I have simply created this console app, that is Azure Storage Queue demo, and obviously I will upload this code on the GitHub as well. And I have installed this NuGet package, that is azure.storage.queues. So quite simple and straightforward, right? Now to send a message to this queue, obviously we will need queue name and then connection string for this storage account, right? So let's retrieve both these. So this is our queue, so let's copy it, and we need connection string, right? So let's click on storage account, and on the left hand side under security plus networking access keys, let's view this connection string. Let's copy this connection string and let's paste it over here. Now to send a message or to retrieve a message from queue, we need queue client. So I'll say where queue client is equal to, I will say new queue client. And guys, this queue client is available because we have installed this NuGet package. Okay, now to this we need to provide connection string and queue name, right? So let's provide this connection string and then queue name. And now let's send our first message from C# to this queue. Queue client dot send message async, and here I will say hello from C#. And finally let's add a simple console line. So I will say console.writeLine message has been sent. So let's add a debugger on line number 30 and let's run our program. And our debugger has been hit, that means message must have been sent to this queue. Let's cross check. So again, in storage account under data storage queues, let's open queue and see hello from C# Visual Studio, right? Now let's try to retrieve this message in our C# Visual Studio. Okay, so let me just stop this execution and let me just comment this line. And now we want to retrieve the message from the storage queue, right? So I will say where messages is equal to, I will say await, here I will say queue client dot, I will say receive messages async. And basically that's it, guys. And finally again let's add that console write line. So I will say message has been received. So let's save, let's add a debugger on line number 17 and let's run our program. Now guys, let's cross check in Azure portal. So here I will say refresh and see the message has disappeared, right? And if I check the contents of these messages, value, 0th element, and see this body, it says hello from C# Visual Studio. So basically we have retrieved this message in our C# code. Now guys, let's wait for 30 seconds. Okay guys, we have waited for some time and let's go to the Azure portal and see, as of now we cannot see any message, and here I will say refresh and see now that message which we received in Visual Studio. See this again, if we go to this messages, value, see this hello from C# Visual Studio. Now it is available again in this storage queue. So that means this message is now available for consumption by some other service. But then why it was not visible for the first time? So it's because there is something called visibility timeout, and by default it is 30 seconds. So what it means is, let's say one service, if it has retrieved this message, then that message is not visible for other services for 30 seconds. So again, this 30 seconds it is by default, and of course we can set it or we can change it as per our requirement. Okay, but then why we have this visibility timeout? So this visibility timeout, it is a mechanism which causes this message to become invisible after read for a specified period of time. So again you can see for 30 seconds this message was not visible, right? So but why we have this concept? It is because not more than one services should be acting on that message at the same time. So if the processing unit fails to delete the message in the specified time, so that means if this service does not process and does not delete this message in 30 seconds, the message reappears in the queue. That means it is now available for some other service for consumption. So again, it is because same message should not be processed in parallel by multiple services. Okay, so ideally what this service should do is, once it has retrieved this message, so it should process it. That means it should execute the required business logic, and then it should simply delete this message from the storage queue. Okay, so that's it guys. Thanks for listening.